Hello listeners, I'm your host Rahul Sethi. I welcome you all to our next episode of Edelweiss FinTalk. Here we will discuss popular topics on finance. For this episode, we have Rahul Jain, who's Head of Personal Wealth Advisory, and today we have an interesting topic for our listeners on money disorder. Rahul, welcome once again to Edelweiss FinTalk.
Thank you, Rahul.
So, how do you describe money disorder?
So, Rahul, money disorder can be described as a self-destructive or something which you do in daily lives that generally you don't realize. It is creating a lot of emotional anxiety for yourself, and generally it happens when you're not taking your financial decisions well. Generally what we have seen that you might find a lot of people who speculate a lot more than their means.
Okay.
And then finally come into a debt trap and can create serious emotional stress. So that can be one of the financial
So over leverage yourself.
Over leverage yourself. So this is one of the money disorder format which generally happens.
So, it is more of an unconscious behavior. Is there any common behavioral traits that can indicate systemic money disorder?
So generally when I meet people, when I see different set of profiles, there are two most prominent profiles which come in. Ones are who are very, very fearful or very, very conservative. So for example, you might find a lot of people who underspend. They're just very conscious about spending and they want to save more and more and more. So generally what happens is that due to underspending leads to a lot of social impact on an individual.
Okay.
Generally families are not satisfied and it might lead to a lot of emotional stress at home also. So this is a common behavior which has been spotted and seen. So this I find is one of the most prominent ones in money disorder.
Okay.
Apart from this, these set of people are also very, very conservative on their investments. So you will find these people either investing in fixed deposits or just keeping money in their savings account.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you meet them, you will be very surprised that they are very young at age but still having a similar behavior. On the other hand, if they would have put that money, some part in equity or done some asset allocation, they would have made a far superior return over period on their investments.
Sure.
So this is a very self-limiting one. So this is the first one. The other one is who are overspending or over-aggressive and take more risk. This again creates a lot of emotional stress. So generally people who overspend, who are not able to create a balance between what they earn and what they spend, leads to a debt trap, which is a common one. So if you speak to any of the bankers and talk about the credit behavior, a lot of people, these days you're finding that a lot of people are going through this money disorder where they make less by spending more and then paying very high interest rates to banks on credit cards.
Yeah, rolling their credit
card. So this is one which happens. I have met people who does not have a family setting which supports excessive risk taking. They have dependent parents, dependent wife, children, and a very limited amount of money what they make, but still speculate. And they are not able to overcome this habit. So this again can create a lot of distress in short term, but also in a longer term period of time where the future of the kid can go for a serious setback if not right amount of money goes into his education.
That's right.
Or health for their parents. Money spent on that or investment done on that. It's not happening. So these are two common traits which we generally see in money disorder, and both of them I find create a lot of emotional stress, a lot of anxiety. People are avoiding to discuss about the same, are not willing to take help, but if taken help, I think it can
be resolved.
Yeah, it can be resolved.
And how do you think one should work towards removing these money disorder behaviors?
What we can do is, or individual can do is, first be honest about his problem. Generally, what we see is that people are not very open about it.
Yeah.
They're not very open about it. They just try to build excuses around the same. If you meet an excessive risk taker, he always finds the opportunity in the market.
Sure.
So he's not willing to be open about and honest about his problem. Secondly, you have to reach out to financial advisors who can help you in doing the right asset allocation. Now there are a lot of apps also which helps you building expense management if you're overspending.
Yeah.
So you can reach out to your advisors. They can help you on both the sides. And some part of a scolding or tough lesson or short-term hit can also create some improvement in an individual. So that is how you can go about it.
Sure. So you have any last minute advice for our listeners?
So I can remember a common saying which is a very interesting one, especially for people who are going through money disorder, is live within your means. It will help you to spend and invest within amount of money you bring in each month. I think that's very important.
So I think that's
spending is also very important, and also investing is also very important. So both equally work together, and it has to be balanced.
Sure.
According to social status, etc.
So your mantra is living within your means.
Yeah,
exactly. Not to get trapped in the money disorder.
Yes. Also, please remember that a single, isolated or rare financial mistake, for example, once you overspent or once you took a leverage trade in the markets and it's gone wrong, does not mean that you're suffering from or you're going through a money disorder. It can be one of the rare mistakes, but if you keep doing the same thing again and again, then you are tending towards that particular symptom.
Okay. Thanks a lot. So here we come to our conclusion for this podcast. I'm sure the listeners would, get a lot of insights from this. Thanks a lot, Rahul, for this one.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul.
Thank you guys for patient listening. So here we come to an end for this podcast. Stay tuned. We have some interesting topics coming in the subsequent weeks, and we look forward to your feedback. You can suggest topics and we'll try and cover them in the next episodes. Thanks a lot.
The details and investment tips expressed by the expert in the podcast are his personal views. We advise you all to check with your certified financial advisors before taking any investment decisions. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.